News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine with Nick Beres.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. I am Nick Beres. I'm the host of this show, and I'm glad to have you with me today on a Wednesday. Hope you survived the storms last night. Fortunately, no word of any injuries, but certainly some damage. It was crazy, and hopefully it'll be a little cooler today. But I just say sit back this morning and join in the conversation today. We'll get the phone number up there in a moment. You're invited to join with questions, comments, or the like about the city of Nashville, Middle Tennessee in general, things that are going on, with our guest this morning, who happens to be, well, he's just been reelected, Vice Mayor of the city of Nashville, Jim Shulman. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you on. And, we don't have any specific agenda this morning, though I will ask you if there's some things you want to touch on, other than just to talk in general terms about things happening. And there's a lot with the mayor's race still to be completed.
That's right.
This election. But I wanted to let our viewers hear a bit from you about your background. It's interesting. How much do you really know about our Vice Mayor in Metro, Jim Shulman? Now, I go back years with him, back when he actually owned a Maggie Moose. He would go in there. Did you eat the profits? Did you love eating ice cream when you owned an ice cream place?
You know, one of the benefits of me owning an ice cream store is that I really don't like ice cream.
Oh, that worked out, because I had one, I'd just go crazy.
But I will tell you that, and most people who know me well know that I like candy.
Okay, sweet tooth.
So, you know, Maggie Moose is one of those ice cream stores where you put the ice cream on a slab and you put mix-ins in.
Additives, all kinds of stuff, yeah.
So we had lots of mix-ins in the back.
M&Ms.
That was the problem.
Sprinkles, gummy bears.
That's why I needed to get out of there, because I would be in the back eating the products that were going into the ice cream.
That was, what did you say, 2000? That was going back a ways,
We had it for 7 years.
7 years. You had it for 7 years. Pretty neat. Well, anyway, you're a lawyer by trade, and now you're with the Council on Aging?
Yeah, Commission on Aging for the state.
Commission on Aging,
right.
rather. But didn't go into practice law. You did for a while and then got out of it.
So I went to law school, originally from Johnson City.
Okay.
Came down to go to school here.
Vanderbilt.
And stayed and went to work in a small, just a private legal practice, and was ended up foreclosing on people. That was part of my responsibilities, and I did not like that.
It's hard. Yeah,
I wanted to do something that was more proactive, that was more helpful to people, and so I ended up going over to work for the Commissioner of Finance Administration under the McWhorter administration.
Okay.
That's how far back I go.
Yeah.
And David Manning, who just passed away.
Yeah.
David Manning was my boss. He was the Commissioner of Finance, and was really my first true mentor of government.
Yeah.
Taught me a great deal.
And that's where I was wondering, where did the transition go at that point where you thought you might want to go into public service and run for council?
You know, I wasn't sure if I would ever want to run for office. I like government work. I like making policy. And I think being around government was like, well, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to run? But I like the aspects of government, and I like the idea that you could actually formulate policy and help people. And finally, I think I got to the point where I thought, maybe the only way to make a difference is to run, and to have the ability to, you know, be able to hit a button. And so I did.
Yeah.
And got elected as a district council member, and then realized that maybe just by hitting the button doesn't really do anything either.
Right.
I mean, it gives you one vote, but you really have to push. And did that for 8 years, got out of it, and then decided that let's give it another try. I keep trying. Never left government overall, because I really do think that if it's done correctly, you really can make a difference.
Yeah.
And then got back in, didn't really think that I would ever be vice mayor, because I didn't really want to lose the vote that I had just run for.
Right.
Now I vote just in case of a tie, but I think the idea is you get into these positions and you think, well, maybe by being vice mayor, maybe we can get more stuff done. Maybe you can push ideas, push initiatives, and maybe achieve more.
Okay, and just for folks, and that's just interesting to me. I was intrigued by your past, and in terms of being vice mayor, and for some of our viewers, okay, they understand vice mayor. We know we have a mayor. Vice mayor, I guess that's number 2 in charge. As you just said, you only get to vote if there's a tie.
Right.
So if you would, just in terms of, you know, your duties as vice mayor, and again, it's basic civics here maybe, but I think for folks maybe just wondering, every city, a lot of cities have vice mayors, and how closely do you work with the sitting mayor?
So the mayor and I talk as frequently as we need to. But we also sit down at least once a month, and we kind of go through what's going on with the council, anything that's going on with the city. We can always probably do better in terms of more communication. We just keep working on it to make sure that it's the right amount. I know the mayor is busy. We're all busy running around doing things, but we try to keep up with what's going on and try to relay information back and forth so that if something's coming up on the council, he understands kind of what's going on. If he's got something going on, then he can relay it back to us. In terms of the role of the vice mayor, it's basically to run the council meetings.
Okay.
So you have to know Robert's Rules of Order, you got to know the agenda, you got to be able to bang the gavel, and control the board, which is basically opening up the mics.
Yeah.
Pick committee chairs, pick committees.
It's an important job.
Can also kind of help dictate policy to some extent.
Depending on who you put into some of these positions.
I can't bring legislation, but I can certainly, by creating special committees, focus in on specific issues. School safety, for example, we've already tried one of those. I think we're going to look at, I just asked, we have a new council member coming in who's a former police officer, Bob Nash, and I've asked him to work with some other cities to take a look at, particularly after this recent bout of mass shootings, are there some things that we should be doing in conjunction with other cities, and then working maybe with the state and the federal officials to do something. I don't think we've talked about this for such a long time. I don't think you can sit back and wait anymore. You have to take action.
And that's a perfect transition to one of the many topics I thought we might touch on today, and that's it, these shootings. And I keep thinking, and we've certainly had some of what you might call or classify as a mass shooting in the metro area in recent years, the Waffle House incident and the incident at the church in Antioch. Not anything of the scale in terms of how many fatalities of some of these more recent ones. And I keep thinking, and I fear, it's coming. I mean, I have to tell you, Jim, I was worried about the NFL draft. Any type of mass gathering, we've seen this with Gilroy and the Garlic Festival and what happened in Las Vegas with that horrible shooting, and I was thinking, and the NFL does security, and I'm sure you probably know more about what they did than, they do security right. I worry about that. I worry about the Titans season coming up. I worry about any gathering that it's coming to Nashville. If we think we're somehow immune to these mass shootings, even though, like I said, the Waffle House certainly counts, and it was tragic, we're wrong.
Right.
And so what do you do? And it gets contentious, and your viewers, and you're welcome to call and touch on it, gun control, and there's people talking about gun-free zones, or some people are advocating more guns. And what do you do?
Well, and I think I think we have to do something. The question is, what is it? And I think, it's been on my mind quite a bit lately. I think you have to start by just talking to other people and start and really truly engage a discussion. And it can't be about, well, you're taking all my guns away. That's not what this should be about. It has to be about, how do we stop this? And then I was thinking yesterday, what should be the common factor in all our discussions? And nobody wants mass shootings.
Right.
Nobody wants this. So how do we sit down together and figure out what is a proper solution? And I think you have to go back and look at, what do other countries do? What are the scenarios of what's happening in this country? And then start having a dialogue back and forth between people on the extremes and start bringing people together.
Right.
If that's possible.
That's the trick.
But I don't think we have any choice. I mean, I will tell you, you were talking about the, just concerns. I was at a movie the other night, and I could see the exit door. And during the movie, that door clicked. And
darn right.
And the first thing that pops in your head is, I need to take a look and see what's going on over there. What happened? I mean, what happened in this country? We used to not worry about that, and now we do worry about it.
Yeah, wherever you go, and no one's immune to it. And I'm beginning to get to the conclusion, I hate to say it, that there is no solution. Okay? If you could, snap your fingers and get rid of anyone with mental illness having a gun, or snap your fingers so all the guns on the planet just vanish so no one has them, none of that's realistic or possible. I'm serious. I think it's more about, you can work with prevention, but preparing to deal with it when it happens. Because I just don't know how you stop it. I simply don't. And no one wants to hear that. I don't know. You're not going to say that. But I see it. I don't want I don't know that there's a way to stop it.
But I don't think we can stop trying.
Well, yeah, you don't give up.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And maybe you find a way to try to limit it. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more with Jim Shulman. We can open up the phone lines too, 737-7587. We can talk about the mayor's race. Let's also talk about voter turnout,
Sure.
what the issues are there, and maybe some other things going on here in Metro that people may have questions about. Just there's a lot of stuff happening. We'll be back with more right after this.